crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle with the ASIS strike.
You have done your work, you have put us to the wall. We are not the slaves.
I'm not a small boy. You should have given me the report.
I have not seen the report.
Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
Good morning and welcome to Africa's Finest Breakfast Show. It's Global Morning on Global Television, and indeed, it's you're not mistaken. It's the third day of April 2024, and we're so happy to be part of your lives. My name is Anthony Momodu, and I'm not alone. I've got my co-anchor right here with me. Good morning. Yeah.
Good morning. How are you doing, Anthony?
Doing great.
All our viewers out there, how are you all doing? Yes, like Anthony said, today is the 3rd of April, and the thing is, this is the first time we're on Global Morning, so happy New Month to each and every one of you out there.
All right, we tend to make your day truly amazing, giving you all the best there is in terms of news, entertainment, sports, business, and everything in between. We've got some very interesting happenings across the globe. Like we're Global Television, so we're global. We give you all the tidbits around the world. And today, already we know that in Africa we're still celebrating the fact that Senegal has the youngest president ever. And African leaders, talking about the 53 plus countries in the continent where majority were in Senegal to celebrate the youngest African president, and lots of talks as regards lessons to be learned from what played out in Senegal. For me, I think the electoral umpire, INEC, and judiciary should be the two key sectors I think must learn something from what played out in Senegal. For you?
For me, it's a step in the right direction. It shows that we're giving the younger generation a chance to perform. It's not the older generations who have been in power for a very long time. You know, new ideas, new concepts, and all of that. An avenue to move the country forward. So it's a step in the right direction.
All right, step in the right direction, but it's time for us to quickly go for a very quick break. When we return from this very quick break, Africa's Finest Breakfast Show continues. Stay with us. All right, welcome back from that very quick break. Let's start filling your day with all the big happenings across the world. And where we begin from is Taiwan, where there was some very sad story there. The photo you would see on your screen, the photo is taken by Taiwan's Central News Agency on April 3rd, 2024. It shows a damaged building in Haolian after a major earthquake. It hit Taiwan's east. At least 4 persons were feared dead and nearly 60 were injured on Wednesday by a powerful earthquake in Taiwan that damaged dozens of buildings and prompted tsunami warnings that extended to Japan and the Philippines before being lifted. Officials said the quake and series of strong aftershocks were the strongest to shake the island in decades and warned of more tremors in the days ahead. Strict building regulations and disaster awareness appear to have staved off a major catastrophe for the island, which is regularly hit by earthquakes, as it lies near the junction of two tectonic plates. Wu said the quake was the strongest since one of a 7.6 magnitude struck in September 1999, killing around 2,400 people in the deadliest natural disaster in the island's history. Wednesday's magnitude of 7.4 earthquake struck just before 8 a.m. local time, with the United States Geological Survey putting the epicenter 18 kilometers south of Taiwan's Holian city. Let's look at what's playing out in Taiwan. I think Nigerians, Africans should be happy because we do not have this natural disaster, talking about earthquakes, because I think to an extent I feel like floods are even better than earthquakes.
Yes, they are.
It's like you're sinking into the ground.
It's not, none is good, but not as much better. But if you're to weigh our options, I think flooding has a better down effect than the earthquake. And the truth is, you know, when you hear places like Taiwan, Japan, the Philippines, all of these places that suffer earthquake and all of these things, I think right measures should be put in place. I think they should put their houses, they should do more, just take precautionary measures so that there won't be any loss of lives and all of that. It's really worrisome when you hear things. I know it's a natural disaster, but as man, there's a limit to the measures in which we can take to prevent it from being worse hits, you know?
Okay,
it's so sad.
Looking at the fact that now there are tsunami warnings to even Japan, Philippines, do you think that's being proactive because these are neighboring countries?
Well, so to say, yes, I think so. They should, being proactive. In a way, well, yes.
In Africa, they will say it's not my portion.
It's not my portion. But the truth is, you have to take precautionary measures, whether it's your portion or not. Did we ever imagine our wildest dreams that we'll have this when it comes to flood? You saw what happened in Kogi State, where the River Niger, River Benue came afloat and all of that, houses. People lost their lives. There was no movement. From Bayelsa, we heard how corpses were coming afloat. It was that bad. Did we ever imagine? We said it's not our portion, but in all, you still have to take precautionary measures as humans.
All right, that's the way to go. Some very interesting things happening on the global scene. Brent, coming down to Nigeria, we've been faced with lots of economic hardship, and the federal government had pointed to one firm, cryptocurrency firm Binance, as one of the factors where Nigeria's economic challenges has continued. But a good story now is that the federal government and the International Criminal Police Organization have commenced the process of extraditing a Binance chief, Nadeem Ajawala, who escaped from detention on March 22nd. Security agencies had in February arrested Ajawala and Tigran Gambayan, two executives of the cryptocurrency firm Binance Holdings Limited, over alleged money laundering. They were detained in the safe house in Abuja on the order of the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, among other charges. The firm and two executives were arraigned for $35,400,000 money laundering at the Federal High Court in Abuja. But on Friday, March 22nd, Ajawala escaped from detention and left the country using a Kenyan passport. Wow. So on Tuesday, top government officials confirmed that the process of extraditing the fugitive had begun. I think that's good news, but
that's good news, but it's worrisome at the same time how he got out of custody. That baffles me. You know, I laughed and I said, how did he manage to escape from all the security agencies that were the agents that were there? How did he manage?
He asked her to go pray
at
the mosque.
But the truth is, even if he's going to go and pray at the mosque, there would have been a security agent with him at that point to monitor him. So you see how porous and lackadaisical our security agencies are, or will I say the agent at that point was at that time. So this is sad at the same time and good news because, of course, the process has started because he was caught at the same time. But, you know, that lapse that was there gives cause to worry.
Do you think it's a lapse or it was a deliberate attempt? One of the security personnel obviously compromised for financial gains.
Of course, it has to be, because how would he look at his skin color? He's not African. So definitely, if you see someone like that walking out of, would he have gone out of the building? Okay, hooray, hurrah, I'm Minas and I'm walking out of the building. Of course, he will be recognized. So definitely, there was a compromise somewhere. But we're yet, I'm sure, proper investigation should be done, so we'll know how far that particular report goes.
All right, a very sad story there, but it's good to know that Ajala's extradition process has already begun. The federal government is working, as did with Interpol, to extradite the fugitive to Nigeria. He is a fugitive and escaped from lawful custody.
Yes, he did.
His other partner is still in custody and would be arraigned on Thursday alongside their company Binance. A source has already told us. Another source revealed it is true that the federal government has commenced extraditing Binance Ajawala in order to bring him back to Nigeria to answer the money laundering cases, amongst others. The arraignment of Binance and Agabayan in court on Thursday will also aid Ajawala's extradition. So let's see what's going to play out in the coming weeks, and we hope the country, talking about Kenya now, wherever he is currently, which the Interpol will be helping to solve, if we don't have a treaty with that country, then it's going to be impossible to have him brought back to Nigeria. So we'll be looking keenly to see what's going to pan out in the coming days and weeks. And just not to bore with too many stories already, let's give you something that has to do with who is in the kitchen, what menu we have in. Do you have an idea what we have in store?
Well, I would not want to bring the cat out of the bag.
It's good to bring out the cat out of the bag. The cat will die if you keep it in the bag for
Let
too
it be
long.
there. He will receive air at some point.
Okay, that's why it has 9 lives.
That's why That's why it has 9 lives. Up next is Taste and Texture. I promise to give you a recipe worthwhile. Don't go anywhere.
Hello and welcome to another episode on Taste and Texture. I'm Fatimi Abba Umar. Today we'll be trying the coconut rice. Delicately sweet with so much coconut flavor. Coconut rice smells heavily and tastes every bit as good as it smells. It's super easy to make. Yum, just yum. That's all I can say. It's so hard to describe how coconut rice is. It's not surprising at all that it's sweet but savory rice is so popular in many cultures, from India, Asia to Southern and Central America and the Caribbean. Pretty much anywhere you can find both rice and coconut growing. Have you ever tried coconut rice? If you haven't, don't delay. You're going to immediately wonder why you have waited so long. I could eat it for breakfast, lunch and dinner, snacks too. And now to the ingredients. 3 cups of rice, 1 large coconut, salt, cube seasoning, curry, crayfish, fresh pepper, dry fish. And now let's make it. Parboil the rice. I prefer to let it get a little soft while parboiling before rinsing it out because I don't like adding extra water after adding the coconut milk. Then wash and set aside the dry fish. Cut up your coconut into small pieces and blend using a high-speed blender. I add hot water to help extract the coconut milk while blending. Pour the blended coconut into a colander so as to separate the liquid from the chaff. You can squeeze further to help extract the milk, but make sure your hands are clean. Pound crayfish and fresh pepper. I prefer using wooden mortar and pestle because I believe it gives it an earthy flavor. Rinse the parboiled rice and dry fish, crayfish, pepper, salt, onion, curry, and seasoning cubes. Mix all ingredients together. Pour into the coconut milk. I try to extract enough milk to cook the rice so I don't add extra water. Just the milk, not the chaff. Leave to cook for until the water dries up. If you suspect your rice will get soggy, leave the pot open while cooking till it's ready. Coconut rice is ready. Serve with salad or any choice of your meat or fish. I serve with salad with some avocado and salad dressing. And now to the health benefits of coconut rice. The surprisingly health benefit of coconut rice is improved health. Coconut oil contains phenolic compounds that function as antioxidants and guard against cellular damage. It boosts cognitive function. It's a good source of fiber. It boosts immune system. It improves skin health. It improves bone health. It is gluten-free and dietary-free. Coconut oil contains lauric acid, which helps raise beneficial LDL cholesterol. Lauric acid is also converted in the body into monalarin, an antiviral and antibacterial that destroy a widely variety of disease-causing organisms. And now to the health benefits of coconut milk. Weight loss. Coconut milk contains a type of fatty acid called medium-chain triglycerides, MCTs. MCTs stimulate energy through a process called thermogenesis or heat production. It's an antioxidant. Antioxidant protection from diseases. Coconut contains phenols, which are antioxidants during metabolism and other processes. The body processes waste products called reactive oxygen species or free radicals. That's all for now. Bye.
All right, due to popular demand, we had to, repeat. They say when a song is good, you play it twice. When the food is good, you eat it thrice. So we had to give you that delicious meal. And you cannot, I wish I could show you my page responses. They needed that breakfast once. One more time, as if they were even eating it from the TV set. It tells you how sumptuous that looks. I don't know for my co-anchor, if she likes something as nice as that, I could eat that all day.
You know, when you said when you like something, you repeat it twice. When you want to eat something, you eat it thrice.
You said when a song is good, you play it
twice. Okay.
When you like food, you eat it
thrice. Okay.
Yeah.
But you can eat it more than 3 times. But basically, that was one delicious, beautiful fried rice over there. Really nice, really delicious. I think that's what I'm gonna have, right? Anthony.
All right. While somebody's already thinking of food, let's break out away from the food. She's a foodie now, you know. All right, let's give you some other stories that have to do with the education sector, because you get certified that you're a good cook before you open something really nice. So let's take you to the education sector, where the Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman, I like his name, on Tuesday said that security agencies will go after individuals with fake university certificates in the country. Somebody's laughing. Do you have one? According to the minister, the individuals will be tracked after the committee set up by the federal government to investigate the activities of university certificate racketeers in the country. Submit its report. The federal government has set up an interministerial investigative committee on degree certificate mailing to probe the activities of certificate racketeers following an investigation published by Daily Nigerian. That's a very interesting stuff. This news is not going away. It's still happening.
Yeah, because it's not going away very soon. It's not going, because we have lots of...
Our leaders have been guilty.
Exactly.
Approximately 3 weeks ago, a lawmaker was put behind bars for fake certificates. And we have some news circling around the Ondo State governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, that his credentials are suspect. So
exactly.
Even the APC has said, all aspirants bring your certificates for vetting. So I think a lot of people, and we also know that our current president at a point had issues with certificate issues, and one of the aspirants, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, had to go all the way to the US, begging the university to show us the president's and it's still a mystery somewhere. Even the past president, Muhammadu Buhari, also had issues with show us the true certificate. So, I don't know. It's
like I said, this is not going away very as soon as we like Tahir Mamon has said. But well, it's I'm just laughing because this is an everyday occurrence. You go to Lagos, you go to this printing press, and you see them.
You know the place? Lagos.
Yes, I know the place. You know, you took me there last week. But the thing is, we have people are, culpable when it comes to issues like this. It's a very sensitive issue. I remember when I was in the university, and then we had, when year one students, it wasn't me, please. So please.
I'm just looking at you.
We're all in the university, all in our year one. We got to year 3, and then the Vice Chancellor comes out to say, when you were all in year 1, some of you were given fake admissions. So he had to come and he had to sieve a lot of people. Don't you dare look at me like that, Anthony. He had to sieve, and a lot of people were found wanting. A lot
what faculty were you there?
That was law. So, so about 15 people were found wanting. So what he did was he said,
lucky 15.
He's a really nice person, the chancellor, a very nice guy. And he said, because you've stayed through it and it's not your fault, because these people work in the school system, they're part of the corrupt individuals that sold these admissions to you. They had access to give. So what will happen is you have to start again. We'll give you the admissions, but you're going to start again. So we were in 500 level. 400, then they had to go back to year 1. That was what he did. Yeah, you have to pay something to get something. So they had to start
Why
again.
Wait till 3, allow them waste 3 years, then start over? Why
well,
not
that's
2 years?
Isn't it better than forfeiting the admission? Most people said they were never going to, about 10 of them left, but 5 said, well, there's nowhere to go, no admission. So they had to write, they had to make up exams. He did it. You choose one. Do you want to stay or you're going to go? So like 5 of them said, okay, fine, you're going to write the exams. And they did so well, but they started year 1 again. So we were almost graduating when they were in their year 3. So,
okay, but let's look at, for government officials who have been found wanting, shouldn't they lead by example? The presidency, let's start vetting from the presidency downwards. It gives them, rather than just target people, and when within their circles, they are guilty as much as the citizens.
Of course, it's a very sad thing, Anthony, because whether we will want to hear it or not, or we believe it or not, we know that Nigeria is corrupt. We have a lot of corrupt practices that happen. And from the top, it starts from the top, the elites, and they have a lot of money to actually wiggle the way around it. I think it's really sad that you start from individuals who have practically no source of income, are trying to get by for you pursuing, or I say in quote, winch haunting these sets of individuals. Let's start from the top, like you said, and see a lot of shade. We see a lot of skeleton in those cupboards because our leaders are supposed to live by examples, which they are not. And funny enough, we hear and we think it's a rumor, in quote and in quote, provide your certificate. I have my certificate. I have a secondary school person that knew me in primary school. We know the story and all of that. It's just unfair.
All right, let's from the education sector, let's go to another sector that is very interesting. I was supposed to be in this sector.
No, you were not.
Let's talk about the Association of Resident Doctors.
You've been a fake doctor. Very fake doctor.
No one. All right, the story says the Association of Resident Doctors at the University of Medical Sciences Teaching Hospital, Ondo State, has commenced a 14-day warning strike over non-payment of 7 months' salaries to their new members. Jackson telling me inside out. All right, so we're looking at doctors always going on strike.
Always going on strike.
At a point, I used to feel like doctors are very unfair. They earn more than even those in the media, but they go to strike actions more than those in the media. If media personnel were allowed to go on strike, I think the whole country will be shut down because we just have fairly few media houses that pay staffs regularly and very well. So I think other professionals are not being fair.
I just want to ask you one question. Have you saved a life?
Yes, I save lives by talking, sharing information, giving very important
in the
lives.
theater, the operating room. Have you saved a life?
I passed that twice during my sojourn to becoming a doctor.
No, you've told us this story on Global Morning.
And I was told not to come near there.
I think if you're going to be, I know your focus. I know where you go to, and it has to be a
okay, you think I'll make a better gynecologist?
Oh, yes.
Than an orthopedic surgeon?
No, please. You're gonna don't. You want to kill people?
Gynecology is a fairly very interesting aspect of medicine, and it gives you the chance to save lives, to bring children to the world, and ensure that the human race continues.
Okay.
So we're talking about the strike action.
Talking about the strike action. No, let's take us back. I don't want to deviate, but something happened yesterday. You know, something happened yesterday. Yesterday was World International Autism Day.
Yes.
So I needed a pediatric neurologist to talk about autism. And then there was all my doctor friends at Jack Barding, quote, would tell you, oh, Jumai, I'm sorry, I'm unavailable. I have this, I have that. Because of the way you treat the doctors here in Nigeria, they've all gone abroad. So I think doctors, it's a sacrifice, what they do. They sacrifice their lives on the front line. I know someone that we're trying to help people during COVID, and they got COVID.
Are you saying the military officers don't put their lives on the line? Are you saying the media person?
We're talking about the doctors now. They do.
What I'm trying to say, I think the doctors, they overdoing it.
No.
They go to strike at every little instance.
I don't think
because
so.
Because if security agencies, the police that are poorly paid, the media personnel that are poorly paid, and other professionals decide to go on strike for various reasons, then the country will be shut down.
Now that's what I'm saying. If you feel they feel they're of importance to our society, and that is why they're trying to bring out their voice. If you feel it's important, start a strike and we'll say, we'll back you up. But you're not. You're just sitting down there and talking about it every day. But the doctors have decided to come out. It's not.
I'm surprised you're saying
yes,
that.
It's not all bark and no teeth. It's action.
We need to
action.
expunge somebody from our profession. All right, it's time for us to hit you with the Global AM News and give you all the updates making the rounds across the globe and in Africa. And, of course, Nigeria. That will be in the next few seconds.
Stick around. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to AM News on Global TV. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now the news in full. No fewer than 10 states had begun the process of deploying forest guards to protect farmers and flush out bandits. At President Bola Tinubu's meeting with the governors last February, the federal government and state agreed to recruit forest rangers and invest in more training to keep the forest and the borders safe. The Information Minister Mohammed Idris made this known while briefing State House correspondents after the National Economic Council meeting in Abuja. The National Economic Council will reconvene later this month as more state governments have submitted their reports expressing their support on the establishment of state police. The House of Representatives Committee on Disabilities has invited the management of a popular food outlet, Kentucky Fried Chicken, over the alleged ill treatment of Adebola Daniel, son of former Ogun State Governor Gbenga Daniel, and a person living with disability. The committee's chairman, Bashir Ayinla, disclosed this while briefing House of Representatives correspondents at the National Assembly Complex, Abuja. Adebola, a wheelchair user, was said to have been denied access to KFC outlet within the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, last week, with the manager quoted as saying, "No wheelchair allowed." Speaking on the development, the lawmaker said, "We have invited KFC and there will be an investigation which will be based on house rules," he added. The disciplinary incident highlighted by Daniel's public account sheds light on the challenges being faced by individuals with disabilities in Nigeria. The Kano State Hospital Management Board has sacked 3 staff members of Kabul General Hospital and suspended 3 others for alleged extortion. The sacking and suspension of the affected staff were approved by the Executive Secretary of the Board, Dr. Masood Nagoda, after an unscheduled visit to the facility. This is contained in a statement by the Public Relations Officer of the hospital's Management Board, Samira Suleiman. According to the statement, 3 officers of the X-ray unit were caught charging patients 12,000 naira for X-rays against the approved hospital price of 2,000 naira and no document to show as evidence of payment, leaving the facility to carry out less than 10 X-rays per week, despite the fact that 2 X-ray batteries are functional. The Executive Secretary of the Board, however, approved the immediate dismissal of 3 officers on grounds of extortion of patients. The Private Telecommunications and Communications Senior Staff Association of Nigeria has declared an indefinite strike effective midnight on Thursday, April 4, 2024. The union said the decision was deemed necessary due to the relentless anti-labor practice against field engineers perpetrated by subcontractors, according to PTEC SSAN. The subcontractors include Rema Group or Sim Energy Solutions Limited, Up% Limited, Talion Nigeria Limited, and Specific Tools and Techniques Limited, which are purportedly engaged in projects awarded by Hawaii Technologies Nigeria Limited. The union said the grievances against these subcontractors include appalling working conditions resembling modern-day salary, a lack of entitlement commensurate with workers' effort, and the absence of adequate security measures, especially during late-night field assignments. The 44-year-old opposition candidate Bassirou Diomaye Faye has been sworn in as the 5th Senegalese president, as Senegal's youngest president, after sweeping to a first-round victory on the pledge of radical reform 10 days after he was released from prison. Faye took over from immediate past President Macky Sall on Tuesday, April 2, 2024, in an event witnessed by African leaders in the new town of Damaladio, near the capital, Dakar. Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, Authority of Head of States and Governments, also attended. Troops of the Nigerian Army in separate operations conducted in Zamfara, Katsina State, killed no fewer than 11 terrorists. The terrorists were killed following a raid on terrorist kingpin enclaves in the state. In Zamfara, the hideout of terrorist leader Hassan Yatawaye in a Safe local government area was raided, which resulted in a gun battle with 2 of his men killed in the operation. Weapons and military uniforms were recovered from the terrorists. The army says several terrorists fled with gunshot injuries during the gun duel that ensued during the operation, adding that during the raid in Sambisa forest, the men killed 3 terrorists and destroyed their hideouts in the forest. The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ola Olukoyede, says the anti-graft agency under his leadership will continue to be both broad-based, holistic, and unsparing of anyone linked with any form of economic and financial crimes. Olukoyede made this known in Abuja at the anti-corruption concert organized to create awareness and public involvement in the fight against internet crimes. He says the Commission is not only focusing on internet fraudsters, but also on every form of economic and financial crimes. The EFCC boss therefore cautioned youths against indulgence in internet-related offenses, pointing out that the consequences of being convicted for such crimes are grave. He further charged youths to embrace hard work and diligence, saying the path of success is the path of hard work and dignity. The Corps Marshal for the Federal Road Safety Corps, Dauda Biu, has directed the Kogi State Sector Commander of the Corps to commence a detailed investigation which will lead to the persecution of drivers responsible for a crash in the state. The persecution of the drivers will be carried out due to the recent collaboration between the Corps, the Nigerian Bar Association, and State Judiciary. This was contained in a statement signed by the FRSC spokesperson Jonas Agu. According to the statement, the crash that occurred on Sunday involved a total of 4 vehicles comprising 2 Dangote trucks, 1 Sharon bus, and 1 motorbike. The impact of the crash resulted in a fire that killed the 12 passengers in the bus and the motorbike rider. The University of Ilorin has expelled and rusticated 19 students, including 6 final-year students of the institution, for their alleged involvement in various offenses. The Director of Corporate Affairs of the institution, Kunle Akogmu, in a statement says the approval of expulsion, rustication of the affected students by the Vice-Chancellor Wahab Egbewole San was sequel to the recommendations of the Students' Disciplinary Committee at the 220th and 221st meeting. He says that the affected students were penalized for offenses ranging from misconduct, theft, examination malpractice, hostel bed space racketeering and extortion, beating a fellow student, admission, racketeering, extortion, and assault. He added that penalties for the offenses committed by the students include rustication for either 1 semester or 1 academic session, including outright expulsion. In line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, the Office of the Senior Special Advisor to the President on Special Needs and Equal Opportunities, in collaboration with the HELP, the Amputee Foundation, have organized a palliative distribution outreach in form of foodstuffs to persons with disabilities and fostering equality, inclusion, and political representation. Fauzia Lukman tells us more.
In commemoration of the Limb Loss and Limb Difference Awareness Month, the Office of the Senior Special Advisor to the President on Special Need and Equal Opportunities, in collaboration with the HELP, the Amputee Foundation, organized a palliative distribution outreach to offer a helping hand to persons with disabilities facing challenges in accessing nutritional meals. In his remark, the Senior Special Advisor to the President on Special Needs and Equal Opportunities, Honorable Mohammed Abba Isa, calls on the development partners and donor agencies to join hands in bridging the disability and development gap, while emphasizing on the need for nourishment and sustenance.
In observance of the Limb Loss and Limb Differences Awareness Month, we have organized a food distribution program to provide essential sustenance to individuals and families affected by limb loss or limb differences. I also want to use this opportunity to call on development partners, donor agencies, philanthropists, and friends of this government to join hands with us in bringing the disability development gap. I believe that together we can build a more equitable and inclusive society where every woman and girl has the opportunity to fulfill her potential and contribute meaningfully to the progress of our nation.
On the motivation behind the collaboration, the founder helped the Amputee Foundation, Tize Kwaji Joseph, expressed displeasure over persons with disabilities begging on the street and wishing to support in the fight against the challenges and way forward by providing assistive aids.
Personally, I'm not happy seeing them begging on the street. Begging is a kind of old-fashioned, and that is why we are trying to support these people by providing for them. And not only that, we are going as far as to make sure that some of them that we can afford to give them the limbs and the artificial legs so that they can have the sense of belonging.
Speaking on the impact of the palliative and expressing gratitude for the initiative, the beneficiaries have this to say.
Usman, we really appreciate for this today program, for the amputee program. We never see a lot of things like today. I really appreciate for the package that they gave us. May the Lord bless everyone, each and anyone that puts hand for this, for all those things that they give us. May the Lord bless everyone. We really appreciate. Thank you.
I'm always praying for our leader. All the time I pray for our leader, both our president, both our SA. Is always try for us, for the foundation, what they have given us. We appreciate. Thank God.
Fawzia Lukman, reporting for Global TV News.
The Chief Judge of Niger State, Halima Abdul Malik, have freed one inmate and granted 4 bail from the Medium Security Custodial Center, Suleja. This was contained in a press statement signed by the spokesperson, Nigerian Correctional Service, Federal Capital Territory Command, Adamu Duza. According to the statement, Justice Abdul Malik, who was accompanied by senior magistrate and other principal officials of the Ministry of Justice, reviewed a total number of 60 cases ranging from murder, kidnapped, and armed robbery, amongst others. 4 inmates were granted bail and 1 was released. The chief judge in her remarks said custodial center visit was statutory to ensure that justice is served. The Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, in collaboration with key stakeholders, has commenced the process of developing a smart curriculum of bilingual education in Nigeria. Head Public Relations and Protocol, Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, David Akwe, in a statement in Abuja, disclosed that the Commission recently held a workshop for curriculum adaptation for the bilingual school, where experts have brainstorming sessions on coming up with the best curriculum for the unique schools. He says the Deputy Executive Secretary Technical of UBEC, Professor Bala Zakari, who doubles as the project supervisor for bilingual education program in Nigeria, called for a standardized approach in the development of bilingual education curriculum. Zakari noted that UBEC is working to ensure the success of the bilingual education program, right from the construction of the schools in the 9 focal states to the engagement of experts in a series of programs. He added that Nigeria is very unique given the peculiarity of the nation's population, where the country has more than 7 million learners at the Early Childhood Care Development Education, ECCDE alone, and more than 47 million at the primary level. You're watching AM News, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When AM News return, Naira recovery now tackle inflation. BDCs, this and more stories coming right after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of AM News. Thank you for staying with us. Over now to our foreign desk, Iran has promised a response after its consulate in the Syrian capital, Damascus, was destroyed in a suspected Israeli missile attack, killing 7 people, including the top commander and his deputy. Brigadier General Mohammed Reza Zehadi, a senior commander in the Quds Force of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, and his Deputy General Mohammed Hadi were killed in Monday's attack in IRGC. Israel has long targeted Iran's military installations in Syria and those of its proxies, but Monday's attack was the first time it had targeted the embassy compound itself. Russian FSB security service has said that 4 people arrested in full terror plot had provided money and arms for the deadly attack on Moscow's concert hall last month. More than 140 people were killed when gunmen stormed the Caracas City Hall venue in March 22nd before setting the building on fire in the most fatal attack in Russia for 2 decades. The FSB said in a statement that it had arrested a group of 4 a day earlier in the southern Dagestan region who were directly involved in the financing and supply of terrorist means to the perpetrators of the terrorist act carried out on the 22nd March in the Caracas City Hall in Moscow. 3 children were injured in a shooting at an elementary school in Finland, and the suspect, who was also a minor, was later apprehended. Finnish police said the victims were taken to the hospital. The shooting took place at the Vitolia city in Vita, in suburb to the capital, Helsinki, which was around 800 students from 1st to 9th grade and a staff of some 90 people, according to the local municipality. However, the Vitolia School's principal, Sari Lasila, said in a statement declining a comment further on the incident. On business, there was a palpable tension in some parts of Lagos on Monday as a number of fuel stations were shut over supply disruptions. And in Akko-Onjo-Egbeda, Igondo axis, it was observed that many fuel outlets were shut. It was observed that mobile filling stations along the Ikotu-Idimu Road and the Odo-Eron axis of Isheri-Gondo Road were dispensing fuel. It was also observed that the 2 mobile fuel stations had long queues along Egbeda-Akko-Onjo axis. It was observed that only an outlet belonging to the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited located on Akko-Onjo Road was dispensing also. It was also observed that a number of fuel stations along the Mowe-Ibafo axis of Ogun State were not selling as of Monday morning. In continuation to ensure safety of lives and property in Niger Delta region, the gallant troops of Joint Task Force South-South Operation Delta Safe OPDS, comprising troops of Quick Response Force QRF of Headquarters OPDS Land, Maritime and Air Components, rescued 9 kidnapping victims. The freed victims were said to be kidnapped on March 29, 2024 along Patani Ugeli Road in Delta State. Rear Admiral John Okeke, commander of the Joint Military Force deployed to Niger Delta, confirmed the development, saying 10 suspected kidnappers were arrested in the rescue of the victims, who include an NYSC member and a Navy rating. The Nigerian Railway Corporation generated 1.07 billion naira as revenue from passengers in Q4 of 2023. This is contained in the National Bureau of Statistics Rail Transportation data for Q4 2023 released in Abuja. The report showed that the figure decreased by 7.51% compared with 1.15 billion naira generated in Q4 of 2022. Similarly, it showed that 423.22 million naira was collected in Q4 2023 as revenue from goods cargoes. This increased by 169.16% from 157.23 million naira received in Q4 2022. The Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria says the recovery of the naira has led to a relative decrease in the price of goods and services in the country. The president of the association, Aminu Gwadigbe, said this in a statement. He hailed the decision of the Central Bank of Nigeria to allow Bureau de Change to operate in the foreign currency market, adding that it was a major factor in the recovery of the naira. It could be recalled that CBN banned the operations of the BDCs in July 2001 as part of measures to stabilize the local currency. APCON has been championing the campaign for BDCs to be allowed to operate formally in the currency market. The Apex Bank in February reinstated BDCs in the official forex market. In the statement, the APCON president said, along from monetary policy tightening the lead to interest rate hikes and more investment in government instruments and clearance of forex backlogs forward commitments. The recall of BDCs has significantly boosted dollar liquidity at the retail end of the forex market. Nigerian music sensation Burna Boy has clinched the title of Best African Music Artist at the 2024 High Beat Radio Music Award held in the United States. The highly anticipated event, broadcasted live and hosted by rapper Ludacris, Burna Boy raised to the top of African music category, marking a significant achievement in his career. Adding to the Nigerian triumph, Reme's track Calm Down featuring Selena Gomez secured the title of Best Collaboration of the Year, further solidifying Nigerians' presence on the international music scene with their wins at the High Beat Radio Music Awards. Burna Boy and Rema now stands alongside fellow Nigerian artists Wizkid and Tems as recipients of this esteemed accolade. Prior to his triumph at the Highbeat Radio Music Award, Burna Boy had faced disappointment at several award shows, including Beat Hip Hop Awards, Grammy, NAACP Image Award, and Brit Awards. In sports, Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp is determined to enjoy the closing stage of the Premier League title race for all its twists and turns. In what will be his final season at the Anfield, the Reds came back from conceding an early goal against Brighton to win 2-1 thanks to goals for Luis Diaz and Mohamed Salah, with Manchester City and Arsenal playing out a goalless draw. Liverpool are now 2 points clear at the top of the table with 9 matches left to play. Liverpool running includes games against Manchester United, Tottenham and Aston Villa, 6th, 5th and 4th respectively. South African goalkeeper Kellen Swartz says Nigeria cannot stop their quest to feature at the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. Desiree Ellis said are in Abuja for the first leg of their final round qualifier. Banyana Banyana will host the reverse fixture in Pretoria next week, Tuesday. Stuart is, however, optimistic Banyana Banyana will beat the Super Falcons to the ticket. Playing against Nigeria is always a great battle, saying they are familiar with each other only because they have held battles for many years up until now, and this one is no different. As we end AM News, let's take a look at our top stories again. Next sits over state police as governors plan forest guards. Lagos Ogun Fuel Station shot over supply disruption. Burna Boy Rema among winners at 2024 Highbeat Radio Music Awards. Children injured in Finland school shooting, minor apprehended. And in sports, Paris 2024 qualifier, Stuart's upbeat Banyana Banyana will beat Super Falcons. And that's it on AM News, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Remember, we're on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using the Global TV NGL that handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. See you again. Good morning.
Right, welcome back from the Global AM News. We're still back to Africa's Father's Breakfast Show, and we're still in the mood of celebration with what played out in Senegal as regards the new president, 44-year-old Bassirou Faye. And who knows where the next youngest president is going to be coming out from. But before we do that, we also know that Senegal was a former African Cup of Nations champions before they were dethroned in the last edition by Cote d'Ivoire. So based on the sporting feeling we're having now, let's give you some sports big stories making the rounds in the exciting world of sport. And when we come back, it's going to be top of the hour where we'll be looking at what the papers are saying this morning on Nigeria's national dailies. Stay with us.
Hello sport fans, welcome to Sports News Update. OGC Nice striker Terry Murphy is on his way to creating another Nigerian milestone in the French Ligue 1 after reaching a landmark 50 goals in their 2-1 loss at home against Nantes. Murphy scored a penalty to restore parity for Nice after Matthias Ablain had given Nantes a first-half lead. But the visitors struck the winner in less than 5 minutes from the spot through Egypt's Mustafa Mohamed for an important victory. His 50th strike in 126 games now puts him third among Nigeria's highest goal scorers in the history of the French top flight. Former Super Eagles winger John Otaka leads with 59 goals in 239 games, while former Eagles striker Victor Ikpeba is second with 55 goals in 170 games. With just 9 goals behind Otaka, in no time Murphy can become the all-time Nigerian highest goal scorer in the League One and has played a lesser number of games than Otaka and Ikpeba. Murphy's League One journey began at FC Lorraine, where he scored 34 goals in 84 games and has now added 16 since initially joining Nice on loan last January. The 24-year-old joined Nice permanently from Lorraine in the summer of 2023. Rivers United coach Stanley Eguma remains optimistic that his team can weather the storm and reach the final of this season's CAF Confederations Cup despite holding a slim 1-0 advantage in the first leg of their quarter-final clash against champions USM Algeria. Augustine Okejakpepa's 10-minute strike was the difference between Rivers United and the Algerians on Sunday at their adopted home ground in Uyo, as another pulsating 90 minutes await the Nigerian club in Algeria next Sunday. Eguma, who made a return to the dugout for the clash, however, is looking at the bright side of the first leg result before they make the trip to North Africa on Sunday. Bayana goalkeeper Kellen Swart feels it's an advantage for them to start by facing Nigeria away in the last round of the Olympic qualifiers, aiming to use the likely hostile atmosphere there as a fuel to clinching qualification for the Olympics. Bayana take on the Super Falcons on Friday in Abuja before hosting them in the Loftus Versfeld Stadium 4 days later, with Andre Dialami withdrawn from the squad due to medical reasons. Swart is short starter against Nigeria, as the two keepers have been alternating in recent times. WBO African champion Oluwasegun Wahab is set to feature in the undercard of the Ring of Fire fight night, where the WBC champion Tyson Fury and unified heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk will meet for their undisputed bout on May 18 in Saudi Arabia. Wahab will battle the unbeaten British boxer Mark Chamberlain in a 10-round lightweight clash at the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh. The Nigerian boxer holds an impressive record of 23 wins and 1 loss, with 16 of his victories coming via knockout, while the Brit holds an undefeated record of 15 victories and 11 KOs, as it promises to be an entertaining clash between both boxers. Undefeated in Africa, where he has fought in Nigeria and Ghana, his only career loss came when he made his UK debut against Liam DeLeon in York Hall in Green, London. And that's how we call it a wrap on the Sports News Update. I am Anthony Momodu.
All right, welcome back to Africa's Finest Breakfast Show. It's the top of the hour where we look at what the papers are saying in Nigeria so that you get well informed. We'll begin with the national dailies called the Vanguard newspaper. We've got some big headline stories making the rounds, and Jumai Mountain will be helping us with the first top story we'll be looking at from the Vanguard, as we tend to give you some bit of analysis. Somewhere along the line, we will be hoping Ahazia Suleiman, who is the former director of news in the Voice of Nigeria, will be joining us via Zoom to help us do some analysis. But Martin, let's look at what the papers are saying in the Vanguard. What's the first big story you have there on the Vanguard?
Well, the first big story on the Vanguard is Akoma women, children trapped in forest for 6 days. That's one of the big stories, of course, is the killings of soldiers. And it says state police, only 16 states submitted presentation. And then, of course, still on the Vanguard, we have northern senators decry spate of kidnapping violence in the region. And still on the Vanguard, we have Edo Goba, 72 hours to go, 10 parties nominate candidates. That's INEC. Then subsidy removal, 1 billion litres of petrol smuggled out, federal government. Now, over 15 killed, residents flee as herders attack Benue communities. And
all right, still looking at the Vanguard, we've got Okwama. Police, not army, should be probed. Try suspect. That's the headline there. Okwama is a kicker. Police, not army, should probe. Try suspect. I wonder what that would mean. It's like the army being the judge and jury in its own case. All right, we've got other big stories. Why I fell out with Odili, says Wike. Whoever wants to know should pick up the Vanguard, and you get to find out why Wike fell out with Odili. And then we've got Ondo Guba is the kicker there. APC leaders, aspirants clash over Yedatua's endorsement is a big story. You find that story only on page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper. And like we already told you, anguish as 30 children. Others get kidnapped in Katsina and Zamfara and Delta states. That's the worrisome story. And the picture story there, very bold and beautiful, like they say. We've got the new school and the old school.
Yes, we do.
President of Nigeria, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, smiling and having a handshake with the youngest president in the African continent.
Senegalese.
And we could see the height difference. Tells us a lot about the beauty of these two gentlemen. And let's hope there's going to be passage of information and leadership skills from Africa's biggest black nation's president to
hopefully
the Senegalese new president.
Hopefully.
All right, those are some of the headline stories making the rounds on the Vanguard newspaper. We still have other stories. Let's look at other papers making the rounds.
Let's look at The Guardian.
All right, The Guardian.
And it says land grapples speculations wreak havoc on citizens. Of course, that's investment. And it says terrorists kill 6, injure many in Castina.
All right, that's Casina State there. We've got also on the picture story there, rising energy cost. Federal government finalizing electricity subsidy removal, plans 200% tariff hike. That's going to be... All right, we've got Peter Obi, economist, lecture Tinubu's government on how to reduce borrowing. Is one of the big stories there. And we've got JAM uncovers 1,665 fake A-level results. And we've got NLC TUC close. All right, that's talking about NLC TUC close ranks on minimum wage. Very important they do so. Those are some of the big stories. We've got Dangote Otedola, Adenuga, Rabiu, make Forbes richest list amid Naira devaluation. I find it very disturbing when you see roll calls of this man and nothing to show to the citizens of their dear country.
Exactly.
What's the use of having rich men when you cannot show love to...
Or make impact. Make impact. You don't have to show love. Make impact.
All right, so those are some of the headline stories from the Guardian newspaper. Let's look at our Daily Trust and see how big the Trust headlines look this morning. Looking at the Daily Trust, we've got electricity tariff to rise by 300%. And other big story, how realignment
in bandits hierarchy spurred Kaduna's mass adoptions. And then still on the Daily Trust, said gunmen kill businessman, adopt wife, neighbor in Zamfara. And still on the Daily Trust, it says Dangote refinery commences diesel sale, pegs 1 million liters per market. Well, that's a big news there. And it says Ondo residents loot truck conveying Tinubu branded grains. So
we got gunmen kill businessman, abduct wife, neighbor in Zamfara. Very sad commentary there.
Yeah, very sad commentary. And it says ex-NLC President Ali Chiroma dead.
All right, looking at the papers, the Daily Trust there and the big stories making the rounds. Let's go in and see what other papers are saying. We've got the Leadership newspaper on the line, and the Leadership has 16 months after flag off, federal government halts Kumani oil drilling is one of the big stories on the Leadership newspaper. We're looking at the Leadership newspaper up next as we review papers making the rounds.
All right, on the Leadership newspaper, we have Ikeja cantonment explosion caused by burning refuse. And then still on the Leadership, we have DMO plans new 1.8 trillion naira debt in 3 months. And still on the Leadership, bandits release 30 abducted Castina children. That's a relief, and that's good news there. Nigerian gains 1,278,588 1,278.58 naira per dollar on official market, strongest in 2 months. Well, that's good news, right, Anthony? Now, troops kill 18 bandits in Plateau. Faye sworn in as Senegal's president. That's the news.
All right, on the top of the Leadership, before we wrap up with the Leadership, we've got Debt Management Office plans a new 1.8 trillion debt in 3 months. It's the big story there on the Leadership newspaper. You find that only on page 939 of the Leadership newspaper. And looking at other big stories, still at the top head, we've got Ikeja cantonment explosion caused by burning refuse. Says the army. That's an interesting excuse there. Explosion caused by burning refuse. All right, I'll see what that means, and whoever is responsible, I hope, would be made to, pay the price. Bandits release 30 abducted casino children. That's a story there. And we've got Faye sworn in as Senegal's president is one of the headline stories there.
Making rounds.
And those are Ondo APC. Ticket is a Kika. Ayedatiwa Akeredolu's comes ahead for showdown. Is the big story there. All right, let's see what other papers have in store for us.
Let's look at the Punch newspaper. And the kicker here says, Ayedatiwa fumes as Ondo APC elders endorse Ayedatiwa. And then we have diesel price drops as Dangote sells 1,225 naira per liter. Supplies petrol, that's May. And it says dealers get 1 million liters each at 1,225 naira per liter. Price drops in Oyo, Lagos, and Osun State. Now, federal government, Interpol in talks over Benin's chief's extradition. And he says Naira sells below, I've said that before, Dangote, Adenuga, Abdul Samad, Otedola make Forbes list with $26 billion. And I'm still on the Punch newspaper. We have Deputy CP founded in Oyo Department Police begin probe. Court finds Ogun CP 5 others 25 million naira for unlawful detention.
All right, let's move to This Day newspaper and see what the headlines are saying this morning. This Day newspaper is up next for review.
And it says Dangote refinery begins supply of diesel jet fuel to Nigerian market. Over to you, Anthony.
All right, reporter is the kicker there. Federal government set to triple electricity tariff for urban areas. A price may hit 200 naira to a kilowatt, is what the big story says there. We've got a Dangote refinery begins supply of diesel and jet fuel to Nigerian market, is the headline. And we've got a kicker. Wike is the kicker there. I have cut ties with Odili, calls Rivers elders political vampires. All right, that's Wike speaking there. And in the coming days and weeks, we'll get to see if he's going to stick to his gun. All right, we've got, we've Dangote, Adenuga, Rabiu, Atodela emerge only Nigerians on Forbes World Billionaires list for 2024. All right, those are some of the big stories making the rounds on this day newspaper. And let's see if we've got other papers to preview. We've got the Tribune, Nigerian Tribune is up next for review. And the Tribune has very interesting picture plates there. We've got Ondo 2024 governorship, Jimo Ibrahim. I am the most qualified. Yes, we can see the picture story. He shows us why he is the most qualified.
Yes.
He's proud and he's bold with display of his credentials.
Yes,
and,
he has a certificate.
yes, so like we were talking about this morning.
Right?
Those the past presidents that were not bold like him to display his certificate. But I wish we can still see what the papers are saying. The Nigerian Tribune, yes, better there. All right, Dangote refinery begins a sale of diesel, and ex-governor Akala's ADC DCP Oyedemi found dead in his room in Ogbomosho. All right, what happened to him in his room? We'll get to find out.
So what happened to him in his room?
EFCC to arraign 2 Binance officials tomorrow. Very interesting. And we've got in the education sector, JAM uncovers 1,665 fake A-level results for those having fake results. Time we'll catch up with you very soon. All right, let's.
You're saying that. Did you ever have an issue with your A-level result?
All right, let's let's move on to other issues making the rounds. The co-anchor trying to get under my skin. All right, let's go for a very quick break. When we return from the break, hopefully we'll be getting Ahazia Suleiman, who is the former director of news of Voice of Nigeria, would hopefully be joining us via Zoom to give us analysis of those with fake A-level results and other big stories making their rounds.
Right
yeah, stay with us. Welcome back from that break. You're still watching Africa's Finest Breakfast Show, Global Morning, as we look at excellent issues. After looking at all the big stories making the rounds in the papers, we're just going to take a few highlights and discuss as regards some very excellent issues that we saw in the papers. One of them being the federal government being in talks with Interpol over the Binance chief's extradition. That's one of the very interesting talking points we're looking at. Once the report came out that the federal government and the International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol, have commenced the process of trying to extradite Binance chief Nadeem Ajawala, who escaped from the detention on March 22nd. Security agencies had in February arrested Ajawala and Tigran Gambayan, two executives of the cryptocurrency firm Binance Holdings Limited, over alleged money laundering and terrorism financing. They were detained in a safe house in Abuja on the order of the National Security Advisor in the person of Nuhu Ribado. Among other charges, the firm and the two executives were arraigned for was a $35,400,000 money laundering at the Federal High Court, Abuja. But fast forward, March 2022, we've got Ajawala escaped from detention and left the country using a Kenyan passport. That's very unusual. On Tuesday, top government sources confirmed that the process of extraditing the fugitive had begun. Meanwhile, sources noted that Ajawala's absence would not affect the arraignment of Binance and Tigran and Gabayan in court on Thursday, that's practically tomorrow, over the 5-count money laundering charge. Ajawala's extradition process has begun already. The federal government is working as he did with Interpol to extradite the fugitive to Nigeria. He's a fugitive that escaped from lawful custody and in other partner still in custody and will be arraigned on Thursday alongside the company Binance Holdings. But the federal government has also, let's look at the fact that, okay, now with, are you convinced the federal government is truly serious about this issue? Because we know that we've not heard anything constructive to say persons in the National Security Advisor's quarter has been either sacked, punished, penalized, or we've not. What does this tell us?
Like I said from the beginning, I see lapses, I see holes, I see this lackadaisical way of handling this matter. For me, how did he get access to a Kenyan passport? That's number one.
Yeah,
when he was in detention.
Yeah.
And when you're in detention, from what I know, you're stripped of practically everything, including your phones, including documents, including all of these important materials. So how did he get hold of his Kenyan passport for him to leave the shores of Nigeria to Kenya? Of course, we need questions. It's not all about the Interpol and all. We need to know, how did this happen? Thorough investigations need to be done for us to know whether our security in Nigeria is porous. Like I said, federal government, they've been lackadaisical.
All right, last week we had a conversation where you were like speaking in defense of the Nigerian Army, their integrity, and I was of the opinion that in as much as I love the Nigerian Army, I support them, but I don't think that's as upright as they portray. First of all, the incident that occurred in Ughelli, just to digress a little bit, still has unanswered questions as regards, was it really true that they went for peacekeeping mission? Was it really true they were ambushed? Was it also not true that the army had several times harassed the people of Okwama community? And so the third time coming, the people had to defend themselves. Because the story of this Binance tells us that the soldiers detailed to monitor Ajawala were being grilled by special investigators drawn from the military, Department of State Services, and EFCC as regards what happened. So what it means is, okay, they were soldiers. So how come the soldiers compromised?
Soldiers from what force? They could be soldiers. Are you talking in the army? Are they
we're just talking about the military now, whether it's the army.
But it wasn't the military that was deployed to watch over Benas. Let's be sure.
Yes, they're classified as the soldiers. So whether police, military, the most important thing is that we're all members of the national security.
Armed forces.
Yeah, and what it means is these are special trained persons.
They are.
They should be persons of very high integrity to an extent. And knowing fully where the damage Binance had caused the country, I thought it's only expected that they would guard this fugitive or this suspect with highest level of patriotism. But for them to have compromised, it tells us that the Nigerian military or forces, either the police or security architecture, there's something lacking. Because if the NSA's office, this can happen, then why should we have almost, like this morning, there was this melodrama when I was coming to work. A Nigerian army man, he stops his taxi. He was supposed to go in first, then the civilian to join him next. He refuses to enter and tells this civilian, go in, and the civilian says, no, I'm not going in. And there was this bit of back and forth, and the next thing, the army man steps out and says, respecting me, and hits the civilian. And the civilian was now like ready for a fight. And looking at these two persons, there's no guarantee this soldier could beat up this man. And it just...
Was he on his...
Yeah, he was in his uniform. So the first thing that crossed my mind was, this could have actually played out anywhere. And that's why most times when you see civilians either beat up or kill the soldiers, and you begin to wonder, why would civilians take up arms against people that protect them? So it just tells you there's something wrong. There's something really wrong. And this Binance issue, the fact that the soldiers that were detailed to, like you rightly pointed out, how did he get access to his phone to even make that to get a passport? So it means the NSA, even Ribadu himself as the head of that, needs to be talked to. If possible, remove him from there. You don't give people positions based on past glory, because if under his watch something like this can happen, he should, if he's as straight as he is, he should be resigning. In other clients, he will be the first to resign because under his watch, this is what is happening.
And let's not forget, this is an international issue.
Yeah, and for us to even take our dirty leanings to the international community, asking them to help us fetch someone who was under
our watch,
it just tells us it's a big shame.
It's a big shame and a big sham at the same time, because, of course, in a crate of eggs, there's always the bad ones, and the bad ones.
In the what?
Crate
of eggs. Okay.
In the crate.
That's a nice analogy.
Exactly. Because
but eggs are very fragile.
They are fragile, and that is why you cannot tell which is bad. But the bad one pollutes the good one, so you have to be very careful. So in all of these things, it's all security agents. Most of them are not working in the upright standard when it comes to integrity. Most people will actually deter from what they believe in because of what they will gain.
Financial gain. It means they need to be paid better. Probably just like the federal government believes that if the judiciary is paid better, they will not compromise. So I think they should extend that to other professions. That takes me back to what
I say. Once a man is greedy, whether you're paid well or not, that greed will always creep in. You always want more. You will never be satisfied. So that is how it is. In most particular professions in which you find yourself, there are people who are greedy and not satisfied. Even if you give them everything in the whole wide world, they will still compromise and still betray and stab at the back. So what are we talking about here?
All right, so that's what we're talking about, the Binance issue. And we'll go for a very quick break. And when we return from this break, the conversation continues. Don't go nowhere.
Stay tuned.
All right, welcome back from that very quick break. And in the next couple of minutes, I will be discussing the Niger Delta killings, the causes and solutions. And we have no better person but the former chairman of the Ijaw Youth Council, FCT, and the Northern Region chairman, in the person of Adam Mabo, will be joining us in the live studios to look at the Niger Delta killings playing out, the causes and solutions. We know that Okwama has been in the news for the wrong reasons, but also after that incident, we had also about that some police officers also killed in Delta State, and we've been having some various killings playing out. And so we're looking at what is causing this recent uprising in killings in the Niger Delta that has been peaceful for a while. And we'll also be seeking for the solutions. That will be after this break. And I know you're also part by marriage, part of the Niger Delta region. And you know how beautiful the people of Niger Delta are.
Yes, I have. I have family and friends, relatives from the Niger Delta. The beautiful culture when it comes to their dance.
Food.
And food, yes.
I know you love the fish and bole.
The fish and bole, yeah. Nice, really nice.
All right, so we'll go for a quick break. When we're back, I'll be having my guest in the live studio helping us to look at the issue of the Niger Delta. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. It's now time for us to get into that conversation mood. My guest on today's edition is, he is the former chairman of the Ijaw Youth Council, Abuja and Northern Nigeria, and he is presently the national president of the Niger Delta Progressive Youth Leadership Foundation, the NDPYLF, and he's not a person but Adams Mabo joining me in the live studio. Sir, good morning and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, thank you.
All right, let's look at what's playing out. Recently, there's been a lot of killings in the Niger Delta region, especially beginning from Okoma community. The last time we spoke via Zoom, you were in the Niger Delta trying to resolve some communal clash. Can you give us, from your own perspective as a Niger Delta leader, what really played out in Okoma? Because a lot of people believe that they argue that it wasn't a peace mission that the army went for in Okoma local government area community.
Thank you. Let me first of all condemn what happened, the killing of the Nigerian military. And I think that actions, the whole entire Niger Delta condemn it. Because there is no reason for anybody to kill anybody, as far as the human life is concerned. But as Niger Delta leaders, we are still looking at this issue, this scenario, because we are also asking the Nigeria military that the excess of this story, the truth of this story, we have never seen the truth of this story. Because looking at the excess of what happened at that Okwama community, according to the story come from the military, that the military men went for a peace mission. And you all know that for any peace mission, is it only military that has the capacity to handle peace when there is no civil defense, when there is no police? And you all know that any issues concerning civilians matters being handled by the Nigeria police force. So some of us are still questioning what really happened. That why is it that only military men went for this peacekeeping? So I believe that whatever thing we are discussing, let us also look at what is the cause and how did these actions happen. Because look at the rank of the military men that is involved. The CEO, commanding officer of Nigeria Army. Then we are talking about 2 captains. Then the other military men. And you know, as a Niger Delta, with my experience, also a former chairman of the Ijaw Youth Council, IYC Abuja, we mainly involves a lot of peace issues in the Niger Delta. And you and I know that since the proclamation of the Presidential Amnesty Office in the year 2009, under late President Musa Yar'Adua, Niger Delta is having a relative peace. There is peace, there is unity, and there is understanding within the territories of the Niger Delta region. So which I believe that the truth of this matter, some of us are still looking at the whole issue that the military has never tell us what really transpired, because the truth has never been verified. Because it's what they are saying that everybody is hearing. How can a military officers, commanding officers, 2 captains, and majors of that matter, it is not easy for a military commanding officer to go a place without having his own men on ground. You know, for them to kill 17 armies. We are talking about 17 Nigerian armies. So for me, even to kill 3 army is not easy. But killing 17 army, a 1 commanding officer, and then 2 major and captain, let's look at the issue. So that is why people need to do proper investigation.
Okay, let's get from you personally. What information have you gotten from your people on the ground in terms of what really happened? Is there any story behind the scene apart from what the army is telling us? What information have you gotten that what really happened?
I think we also gather some informations from the community. That community is a community that belongs to Urhobo people from Ughelli. And let me also tell you that you listen to the interview of the Urhobo Progressive Union national president, including some of the critical stakeholders from Ukwama community. Because if you said you are going there to make a peace in a community, at least the peace cannot just be only army. All of us know. Sometimes I wonder, army is not duty of army to make peace in a community. If truly we want to make peace in community, there are another arms of government, another arms of military force, let me say Nigeria Police Force is responsible for civil matters. And I think you went there to do peace, peacekeeping and peace mission. Army responsibility is to, number one, to protect the fundamental integrity of a country, the sovereignty of a nation. And I think for army alone going to that community, even some of the community are also saying that this thing that happened, because it's like a dream to everybody. It's like a dream to everybody. Even me that is speaking with you, I was not there. But based on the information everybody is saying, we try to verify and look at what everybody is saying about this Ukwama killing. And you know that because of that, the military also went ahead based on their security intelligence, according to them, to Bayelsa State, to Ogbolomobri community were also back.
All right, let's go for a very quick break. When we come back from this quick break, our conversation on the Niger Delta killings continues. Just stay with us. We've got the national president of the Niger Delta Progressive Youth Leadership Foundation in the person of Adams Mabo, who is giving us an intake and insight as regards the Ukwama issue and the killings in the Niger Delta region, the causes and the solutions to this very bad menace. All right, let's look at what is likely to have happened. What would have caused the killings of these 17 military officers, and also the fact that they were beheaded, some of their parts were taken off. And like you rightly pointed out, if it was a peace mission, then it should be the police and not the army, and not high-ranking army officers. What would have likely caused this issue that happened with your experience of the Niger Delta and the boys in the creeks?
I think looking at this very issue, I will categorically tell you that the Nigeria army that went to that Ukwama community did not go in a proper way. Yes, we condemn the killing of Nigeria army. We do not support any Niger Delta youth to carry arms and kill anybody, even outside of army, whatever. The recent issue also happened about police were also killed in Delta State. But according to the information we gathered, that those who carry out the actions, Nigeria Police Force have, through their investigation, they have held some of them accountable and they are going to face the law. That is how it is. But the issues of this matter sometimes Niger Delta issues sometimes become different when you talk about Nigeria. And you are aware, we did not support killing. We did not support anybody to carry arms, illegal arms, moving around in the Niger Delta region to cause mayhem. Because we believe the Niger Delta is peaceful, and is peaceful for business drives and for the people of Niger Delta and Nigeria as whole. And I think the Nigeria Army need to still do proper investigation of the killing of these 17 Nigeria armies. Because with the information we gathered, some of us are still doubting the information because the truth has never been revealed for people to see.
What's the truth that you gathered?
What I mean is that even the community people were denying that they don't know how these things happen. But you imagine how they kill Nigeria.
So are they saying it's other people that killed those Nigerian army personnel and not the Okoma community people?
That the way it is, if you look at it very well.
Because the Senate President said it was
that is what I want us to say.
So did they kill the army and threw them in Okoma community to make it look like it's the people of the community? So they are not Nigerians or they are not from Niger Delta, but they carry the killing out there.
I think what I can say here, in some extent, I may support the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio. Because it is not easy. You look at it, we are talking about Nigerian military. We're not talking about a civilian. We're talking about army, a commanding officer and majors and captains. So it's not easy for you to take them unaware. In such manner, to the extent of killing them, also removing intestines of those people. You see, look at the whole story. It looks as if maybe there are certain things going on between this army and some persons in some special arrangement that caused to this dispute between them and something happened. But these people are not telling us the truth. Let us be frank, look at the issue, look at the storyline now. How can the 17th army kill? Then the 17th army, nobody shoot fire. Nobody kill any of those people. Look at the whole story now. It is not clear to any of us. If you want to verify it, it's not clear. Like what I want to say today is that this killing also caused a lot of infliction and pain in the life of ordinary Niger Delta people. These people are harmless. Some community of Ugbolomobiri and community of Ukwama and others were being destroyed by Nigeria Army because of this killing. Do you know that now people are passing through the pain and people do not even know about this killing? Some people now is homeless. Every time when a lot of issues happen in Niger Delta, Nigeria Army capitalize on it to destroy our communities. Why should you not go after those who kill the army than to destroy innocent people community that they don't even know about the killing? So these issues of destroying innocent community, Nigeria Army should be very, very intelligent, should be professional in their responsibility and obligation, rather than capitalizing any error to destroy innocent people. As I'm talking to you, many youth were being killed because of this matter. More than 40 has been killed in the Ugbolomobiri community, Ukwama and others. Now the military are now saying that they are going to build military base in the Ukwama community. The question is that what happened to the innocent people being killed because of this matter? Because they were not involved in these criminal activities. This is just a criminal matter.
Can we bring in the issue of Titana security network? You know, there was a time they had issues with the Nigerian military over bunkering allegations. Someone accusing the Tompolo security outfit of, conniving with some people to smuggle crude oil. While Tompolo is also accusing the Nigerian military of also doing the same and joining hands. So is it possible there was a rift, that the fight between these two parties in Okoma, and that was where the killing occurred, and the people of Okoma are made to pay the price?
Sometimes I can't able to tell you what I don't know. The most important part is that as far as we are Niger Delta, some of us know very well that even the Nigeria Army were also involved in this bunkering. It's a true fact. If truly we want to know the truth of this bunkering, begin to check from the army rank, how much is their salary. Some army have an estate in Abuja, estate in different places. How do they get the money to build those things if they are not involved in these illegal activities of bunkering?
And they like going, that's why they
and
like
the navies. That is why you see when Asari Dokubo also make a statement. Till today, nobody have questioned him because he know what he was saying. And some of the Niger Delta people also know that those connection of the illegal pipeline or whatever, holes and that. And you know that the army and the Nigerian Navy who are involved in protecting those areas. The question we can ask ourselves today is that this oil installation can be protected by the local people. For instance, look at the Tantita Security Service that is doing wonderful job for Nigeria. Have you aware the oil production has been increased in Niger Delta since the involvement of Tantita Security Force handled by former militant leader? But some of us, we don't call them militant. They are not militant, freedom fighters. They are freedom fighters. We are fighting for justice and fairness for what belong to them, their God-given mineral resources. But government came and criminalized them, called them a name militant, because of they know that they have the governmental machineries to criminalize anybody. So they are freedom fighters. They were fighting because how will you expect me that in my community where oil operation has been taking place, the water has been polluted, gas flee all over everywhere, and these people are passing through various diseases and others, and then you cannot even compete, cannot employ those people who are within the territory of that community of operation of the oil production, then you now call them militant. They fight for their right. They are not militant. The most important thing is that if the Tantita Security Company can able to protect the oil installation for this extent, that tell you that the local communities within the Niger Delta region can protect this oil installation, and the production will continue to increase. Because do you know that the Tantita Security Force has also created a lot of job opportunity? Because immediately that contract were given to High Chief Government Ekpemo Polo, it called the various nearby communities, including other ethnic nationalities, to come and involve so that you can enlist them into the Tantita Security community and security outlets so that they can able to protect this oil installation. Till today, they are protecting it.
Okay, let's look at the Nigerian Army that has been allegedly accused of being involved in bunkery. The Nigerian Army has not come out to tell us that they gave the order for these people to move in for this peace mission. Is there something funny about it?
It's very, very funny. Very, very funny. Do you know why I say very, very funny? In a peace mission, in Niger Delta, what we normally know is that the people always have what is called Joint Task Force. That is called JTF. And you are going for a peace mission. This Joint Task Force, nobody from the police, nobody from the Navy, nobody from the civil defense involves in this peace movement. So that to tell you that, that's why I said from earlier statement that there is something fishing that they don't tell us. The army should come up and tell us what really happened. Not that to capitalize on it and be also destroying innocent community and making people homeless now. Let them tell us the truth, because they have never tell us what really happened in that Okuama community. At least truth is always truth. You cannot bury truth. Because if really they went there for peace movement, it's not only army will go for that peace movement. What about the community leaders? What about the traditional rulers? What about the community youth leaders? They could have also involved in the peace movement.
And probably they would have been killed too.
Yes, so by killing, why is it the only army that been killed in that peace movement? Because look at it, the community of that Okuama is a community that is living by people. The traditional rulers are there, the community youth are there, the women leaders are there. Nobody were involved in this peace mission. That's why I said there is something fishy that the Nigerian army has told us. Okay, who gave the directive for the peace movement? Because the chief of defense staff, who in charge of every security matter in the country, is he aware that the Nigeria army is going to Kwama community for peace mission? So we should look at these issues very well. Then we will realize that there is something hidden that the Nigerian army has not exposed to anybody. The truth has never come out. That's why we need to go out and do proper investigation to understand what really the cause of this killing of these 17 armies in the Okuama community. So if truly we find out the truth, then you will realize that there must something involved between this army and some other people in the Riverine area that caused this. So for me, I don't think it is just only peace mission they go for. There must be something hidden that they are not telling the world to know.
All right, let's look at currently we've got the head of the traditional ruler of the Ewo kingdom, who has been named as one of those wanted, and he has submitted himself to the police, and the police has handed him over to the army. Niger Delta leaders are calling for his release. Do you think the traditional ruler would be released, and what's your take as regards his arrest? Because a lot of people have said the army shouldn't be the one to probe this case because they are involved in the case. Do you think there's going to be fairness and justice in this probe if it's the army that is probing itself?
But do you know that, my brother Mamadou, the Nigeria police has a responsibility and obligation. There is a fundamental reason for the establishment of Nigeria police. Every civil matters is being handled by police. To the extent that a traditional ruler was declared wanted and he came out by himself, submit himself to the Commissioner of Police in Delta State, instead for the police to take over their responsibility and investigate the matter, they hold the traditional ruler and over him to Nigeria Army. That shows that invariably Nigeria police is telling us that they cannot do their obligation, their responsibility for the ordinary citizens of the country. How will you be a judge? Then how will you be a lawyer? How will you be the final say of your own case? You cannot be a judge of your own case because this matter is involved between the Nigeria Army and the Okwama community. It is time for police, Nigeria police, to do their work. We condemn that areas of handling the traditional ruler to the Nigerian army. What did they handle him for? So should you go the Nigerian army kill him or what? So I believe what the police did, the commissioner of police in Delta State, what he did is running away from his own responsibility and obligation as a police commissioner of police. This thing happened in Delta State. It's not Delta State. Now this is time for the commissioner of police in Delta State to look at these issues and carry out local intelligence to find out what really happened. But today he has relegated the responsibility to army.
How do you feel when the Nigerian police told us after, that was 72 plus hours after the event, they said they couldn't enter the Okoma community because the army had held the community's siege, and also reports coming out a week after also did tell us that Okoma community women and children were held in the forest for 6 days plus because they couldn't move out because the army had taken over everywhere.
You see, let me tell you, my brother, the community is passing through hardship, the women and the children, for what they don't know about. And if you ask me today, I will also make you understand that the army takeover surrounded the whole environment. Yes, if the police does not have any means to go to the community, the Nigeria security force being handled by chiefs. We have the chief of army staffs, we have the chief of naval staffs, we have the chief of air staffs, then we also have the Inspector General of Police. The Commissioner of Police only take directive from the Inspector General of Police. Why should he not report to Inspector General of Police? Then the Inspector General of Police will also communicate with the Chief of Defense Staff that his own people is going to community to do their work. But today, because of the way prevailing issues, everywhere have been barricaded and they cannot get access. Then it will now become a top-ranked discussion. The Inspector General of Police, the Chief of Army Staffs, the Chief of Defense Staffs will come together and look at what is the best way to address these issues, then involve the traditional rulers in that within that Okwama community and the chiefs and the youth leaders. Do you know that if anything happened in Niger Delta, like first statement during Yar'Adua, what make Yar'Adua to come up with the idea of presidential amnesty program? Because the Niger Delta people make them to understand that no army intimidation can make them not to get what they want. You understand? Because if only army cannot bring peace in a community. For instance now, look at what, I'm not supporting the killing of army, I condemn it. But look at the northeast, where Boko Haram issues, bandit is happened. How many communities have they besieged and then hold everybody ransom? What happened to these innocent people that Nigeria Army have killed in Ukwama and the same time in Obolomabri community? What happened to these innocent? Are they involved in this criminal act? The question. So sometimes this is a sin against humanity. It was mismanagement. They mismanaged the process. The peacekeeping was not just made for Nigeria Army. That's what I said. JTF. Where are the other security agencies? Why only Army went for the peacekeeping? Army's responsibility is when issues happen, their own is to go to destroy. Peacemaking and peacekeeping is not just Army work. There are people who have been established, security agencies, as responsible for peacekeeping. Army one is to protect the integrity of sovereignty of a state against every external aggression. So me, my brother, what I can say is that the Nigeria police, the Inspector General of Police, should take over responsibility and obligation as a Inspector General of Police and look at this issue and address it in a civilian's way. Then those who are involved in this bastardized act will be brought to book and let them face the law than for innocent people to facing what they don't even know concern. As I'm talking to you, we know this is a rainy season period. This is a rainy season period. Many communities are homeless. The children, the women, they are living in the bush for what they don't know concern. So I believe in any action, in any social action, there is a cause. So they should automatically look at what caused the killing of these 17 military officers. By looking at that truth, I tell you, we'll be able to know where we are going. For this now, Army will come out and make their statement, and then Army will take over the communities of those people and don't even know about, and then everybody begin to face hardship and pain for what they don't know concern. So I believe Nigeria Army should be very, very professional in their responsibility.
Okay, finally, as we wrap up our discourse, looking at the Niger Delta elders, Chief Edwin Clark had come out to condemn the way he was harassed, his home was raided. Do you think the Niger Delta elders have done enough to help the people of Okoma community and also help stop the killings in the Niger Delta, which has just started recently? And how has it affected Bayelsa and other Niger Delta states?
You are aware that I was in the house. I also received a call from our Papa, Dr. Edwin A.K. Clark. He's a respected elder statesman as far as the Nigeria is concerned. He has contributed his own areas of quarter of growth and development in this country. Edwin Clark is not just Edwin Clark. He's a nationalist when you talk about Nigeria as a country. And I believe Edwin Clark, Army went ahead to ransack his house. This is the second time. The first one was police. Police ransacked his house in Asokoro. At the end, they apologized to him because they said they gathered information that the Edwin Clark house, there are stockpile of ammunition. They went there and scattered the whole house. At the end of the whole process, they did not find anything wanting in the elder statesman's house. The police then came and apologized to Edwin Clark. The same thing has happened because of the Kwama killing. They went ahead to his own community and his own father's house. They were thinking that that house belonged to him. But the house was ransacked. At the end of the investigation, it shows that nothing was there, including a lecturer of a university was molested. At the end, the man inside of the ZOC in Niger Delta now called Edwin Clark and apologized to him. So that's why I said the Nigerian Army need to be professional in their operation in Niger Delta. They should not take Niger Delta issues more look alike. Niger Delta issues are more different from other areas. The way they used to address other issues within the Niger Delta issues should not be different. And I believe Nigeria Army, what they did to Papa Clark is condemnable. Not just only apologizing for him on through phone. I think the Nigerian Army need to go to meet our elder statesman. He's a respected man. Go to his house and beg him for what happened. We condemn what happened. The killing of the Nigerian Army, we condemn it. We did not support it. And I want to also say this, that the Niger Delta youth who are involving in criminal activities should stop. Because Niger Delta is a region that is relative peace since the establishment of the Presidential Amnesty Program. So I think it is time that the Nigeria government need to look at issues. When issues happen, there are leaders in the Niger Delta. These leaders should be conjuncted. If, for instance, something happened in Okroma, within a 1 month to 2 months, if the people in that Okroma, nearby communities were involved to investigate this matter, there is no way these people will hide. Then we bring them out. The people that are involved in this criminal, we bring them out because nobody supports criminality in Niger Delta. Nobody supports it. So in the aspect of ransacking our elder statesman, and we condemn it in totality, that Nigerian army should be professional in their operation in Niger Delta.
All right, that's how much time is going to allow us to take on this conversation, looking at the Niger Delta killings, the causes and solutions. We've been talking with the Niger Delta Progressive Youth Leadership Foundation national president in the person of Adams Mabo, who is also the former chairman, Ijaw Youth Council, Abuja and Northern Nigeria. He's been our guest on today's edition of the program, Global Morning. I will be going for a very quick break. When we return, our conversation continues. Stay with us.
right, you're welcome back, and it's still Global Morning on Global Television. Hope you're well informed by our first discuss of the morning. Up next is business. Don't go anywhere. Global Morning continues shortly.
Hello and welcome to Business Report on Global Morning. The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, has set a new 2024 base gas price for companies in the power sector and commercial users. This is contained in a statement signed by Farouk Ahmed, the authority chief executive of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. According to the statement, companies in the power sector will pay $2.42 MMBTU for wholesale gas purchase, while commercial users will buy natural gas at $2.92 MMBTU. Furthermore, the NMDPRA referenced provision of the new Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, as the legal backing for its latest decision. Additionally, the NMDPRA sets the floor price for gas-based industries, such as producers of ammonia, methanol, low-sulfur diesel at $0.92 MMBTU. In the first quarter of 2024, the NGX posted an increase of 39.84%, hitting an all-share index of 104,552.06 points. The market capitalization of the NGX also appreciated by 44.5% to close the quarter at 59.13 trillion naira, representing an 18.21 trillion naira increase from 40.92 trillion naira at the start of 2024. The exceptional performance of the market was driven by the exceptional performance of the individual stocks. The Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprises says the CBN's strategic timeline for bank recapitalization will minimize disruption and dislocation in the financial system. The Chief Executive Officer of the CPPE, Muda Yusuf, stated this in a statement, saying that the proposed recapitalization of banks should be done in a manner that would minimize shock and disruption to the bank system and economy at large. Yusuf noted that with the current approach and the timeline given by the CBN, the risk of bank collapse or hasty measures and acquisition should be minimized. According to him, it is also laudable that the current categorization of banks with the differential capital requirement has been maintained for both international, national, and regional. According to him, small businesses account for over 50% of the GDP. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Welcome back from that entertainment report. Up next, let's quickly go over to some sporty news at this point. Up next is sports. Stay tuned.
Hello, sport fans. Welcome to Sports News Update. OGC Nice striker Terry Murphy is on his way to creating another Nigerian milestone in the French Ligue 1 after reaching a landmark 50 goals in their 2-1 loss at home against Nantes. Murphy scored a penalty to restore parity for Nice after Matthias Ablain had given Nantes a first-half lead. But the visitors struck the winner in less than 5 minutes from the spot through Egypt's Mustafa Mohamed for an important victory. His 50th strike in 126 games now puts him third among Nigeria's highest goal scorers in the history of the French top flight. Former Super Eagles winger John Otaka leads with 59 goals in 239 games, while former Eagles striker Victor Ikpeba is second with 55 goals in 170 games. With just 9 goals behind Otaka, in no time Murphy can become the all-time Nigerian highest goal scorer in the League One and has played a lesser number of games than Otaka and Ikpeba. Murphy's League One journey began at FC Lorraine, where he scored 34 goals in 84 games and has now added 16 since initially joining Nice on loan last January. The 24-year-old joined Nice permanently from Lorraine in the summer of 2023. Rivers United coach Stanley Eguma remains optimistic that his team can weather the storm and reach the final of this season's CAF Confederations Cup despite holding a slim 1-0 advantage in the first leg of their quarter-final clash against champions USM Algeria. Augustine Okejakpe's 10-minute strike was the difference between Rivers United and the Algerians on Sunday at their adopted home ground in Uyo, as another pulsating 90 minutes await the Nigerian club in Algeria next Sunday. Eguma, who made a return to the dugout for the clash, however, is looking at the bright side of the first leg result before they make the trip to North Africa on Sunday. Bayana goalkeeper Kellen Swart feels it's an advantage for them to start by facing Nigeria away in the last round of the Olympic qualifiers, aiming to use the likely hostile atmosphere there as a fuel to clinching qualification for the Olympics. Bayana take on the Super Falcons on Friday in Abuja before hosting them in the Loftus Versfeld Stadium 4 days later, with Andre Dalami withdrawn from the squad due to medical reasons. Swart is short starter against Nigeria, as the two keepers have been alternating in recent times. WBO African champion Oluwasegun Wahab is set to feature in the undercard of the Ring of Fire Fight Night, where the WBC champion Tyson Fury and unified heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk will meet for their undisputed bout on May 18 in Saudi Arabia. Wahab will battle the unbeaten British boxer Mark Chamberlain in a 10-round lightweight clash at the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh. The Nigerian boxer holds an impressive record of 23 wins and 1 loss, with 16 of his victories coming via knockout, while the Brit holds an undefeated record of 15 victories and 11 KOs, as it promises to be an entertaining clash between both boxers. Undefeated in Africa, where he has fought in Nigeria and Ghana, his only career loss came when he made his UK debut against Liam DeLeon in York Hall in Green, London. And that's how we call it a wrap on the Sports News Update. I am Anthony Momodu.
Come back. Sorry for that long break due to some technical issues beyond our control. This time when we'll be saying our goodbyes, and hopefully tomorrow we'll continue our discussions on very, very salient issues making the rounds in Nigeria, especially as we look at bettering the economy of Nigeria. You've got your last words.
When you said bettering the economy of Nigeria, you're talking about ways that you can ease doing business, right?
Yeah, that's one of the factors, one of the ways, and also supporting the manufacturing sector to produce more, so that we are less, importing items and consuming foreign items.
True. When it comes to fuel, when it comes to textile, and when it comes to all of these important necessities that are used or imported from other countries, yeah, that's a good one. I'm sure our viewers will join us tomorrow as we talk about ways and, of course, ease of doing business. And that's a wrap on Global Morning, this beautiful Wednesday morning. They say the Women Crush Wednesday, right?
All right. That's new to me.
WCW.
Okay, Women Crush. I guess the crush is for the...
No, as in women. No, it's just a way of celebrating women.
Wait, why is it always has to be women?
Because women...
Too many celebrations, too many days for women, too many international days, too many...
Women are important. They add value.
Nobody has said they are not important.
But they add value. The value they add. No, not too much. It's not...
There's still one day for the men. Why?
Just provide and bring the money. You'll be fine. All right, that's it.
I don't agree. Let's go on a protest. We're going to be protesting.
You're on your own. All right. Okay.
So, I just saying goodbyes. But the men are leading the race. At least we have the youngest man, who is the president in the African continent.
Kudos.
Kudos to the men. And,
kudos. Well, that's one win so far.
10 wins. All right, thank you for being part of Africa's Finest Breakfast Show. We're so glad you were part of it.
Oh, and, yes.
We hope you had fun. I hope the taste and texture.
Taste and texture.
Was good enough.
Yes, of course, the delicious fried rice.
And I'll be having mine after the show.
Okay, and of course, we spoke on business and then, of course, sports.
The Niger Delta killings.
The Niger Delta killings and the solutions.
Now we know it wasn't a peace mission per se, according to the Niger Delta chieftain who told us that obviously there was something behind this smoke screen that the army has to come out clean.
There's always two sides to a story. The army, they have theirs, and of course the people of the Niger Delta.
It was a very tactical move when they used the word
mission.
That was what sold their own story out. But like the Niger Delta chieftain talked about, it's very unusual for peace missions to be done by just one set of persons. It was supposed to entail the police,
troops, securities. I understand, but sometimes a peace mission, it's done by the Nigerian army. When you look at looking at the northeast, some of the peace missions to rescue individuals are done by the Nigerian army. I'm not a spokesperson for the Nigerian army, but these are some of the things. These are some of the things that I know that are obvious. So if they say it's a peace mission, it's a peace mission.
We will have investigations. Will actually prove if it was or not. That's how much we're going to talk about this issue. Hopefully, in the coming days, we'll get clearer picture as regards what really played out in Okwama community and the whole of the Niger Delta region.
All right, it's great to have you all again. Join us same time tomorrow, same time, and on this channel. Yes, it's Global Morning on Global Television. I am Jumai Manson with my co-anchor that always argues with me.
All right, Anthony Momo will be my name, and we're so glad you are part of today's show. Join us tomorrow, so make sure that your day is truly amazing. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from.
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
The struggle with the ASU strike.
You have done your work, you have put us to the wall. We are not the slaves.
I'm not a small boy. You should have given me the report.
I have not seen the report.